Hey, what's going on? This is Kerry Sullivan with How to Kick Ass in Sales. And today, I want to tell you how the secret and the law of attraction can end up kicking your ass. And this is how. I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs this past week looking to boost their sales in their business and kick butt that way. And a lot of them this week were very spiritual and very into the law of attraction and everything else out there. And one of the things is that I find with the common theme of these spiritual people in business, which is great. I actually believe the law of attraction is true, and I've talked about it in my other videos. When you go in with the mindset that you're gonna win and you're prepared to win, and, good things will happen for sure. You got to believe that that's gonna happen, and I believe that is kind of like the law of attraction. But what often happens with these people who really get into The Secret and Bob Proctor and all this stuff is they don't look at the BS. They don't look at the BS that's going on in their business. And I'll tell you what, that's dangerous. And a lot of these people are like, oh no, everything's all good. And the fact of the matter is a lot of the time they're getting their heads handed to them. They're not willing to admit it. So here's the deal, when you look at, a lot of the time, like I've talked before, I like looking at sports and I like looking at Navy SEALs and business and everything like that to, model success. So I'm going to give you some examples. So number one, Bill Belichick is a football coach who I've talked about before. He's won a bunch of Super Bowls and everything like that. He just won one recently. He consistently puts his team in the worst situations that he can in practice. They prepare for the worst so they can go out there and just be prepared for anything that comes their way, and they're more prepared than most teams to go out there and win because of that. Number two, the Navy SEALs, when they go into a mission, they go in to execute and win. However, throughout that mission, they think and they prepare and they have contingency plans all along the way for bad things that may happen. For instance, when they jump out of a helicopter, someone breaks their leg, what do? They get unexpected gunfire in a certain part of that mission. What do? They have contingencies for all this stuff. What if a helicopter doesn't come to pick them up at the end of their mission, or a boat or whatever? What do? They have contingencies for all these things, and they still expect other things to go wrong that in the mission that they haven't even planned for. But they plan to deal with that stuff because these things, the fact of the matter, these things come up and will happen, right? So the other, and people say, well, that's not true in business and life, and you got to focus. Well, I'll give you a perfect example of how it is true that is a useful thing to do. Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's right-hand man, and Warren Buffett has said the same thing. One of the things that they look at when investing in businesses is what is the worst case scenario. They look at things from a worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, we get invested in this business and, the economy falls out, something happens within the business. They look at all the worst case scenarios and what could play out. And then from there, they decide, if this is a good company for them to invest in, given that these things could happen, right? And safe to say, they've had an extraordinary track record. I mean, Warren Buffett is like the third richest man in the world. He makes $39 million a day. So look, just because you look at something that's negative in your life or in your business and you focus on that in terms of, how to deal with that, then that's okay. And in fact, I think that is the best way to get things done. One of the things that happens a lot of time too is when people have a business idea and they go pitch it to venture capital people, they don't think about all the bad things that could happen in their business, right? Venture capital people and top investors will, a lot of the time, they'll rip businesses apart. Elon Musk is a guy who's known for doing that. He'll just go in there and totally tear down someone's pitch to him. He's like, well, what about this? What about that? And he just destroys it. And most of the time, these people don't know how to deal with that. They don't know how to deal with because they haven't thought through the negative things that could happen. Yet, you look at guys like Elon Musk, the Navy SEALs, Bill Belichick, they consistently prepare and ask what could happen in these situations. In my personal opinion, the reason they do that is because they're more experienced than most of the people out there, right? They've been through these things and they know that, yeah, BS does happen. It does happen, I prepare to win, absolutely, but it doesn't always go as planned. You got to be able to look at that. As a sales professional, if you consistently are just looking at everything all rosy and good, even though you're getting your head handed to you, look, you're going to continue to get your head handed to you. Deal with the BS. Don't dwell on it. Train for bad things to go, bad things to happen, and have contingencies and how to deal with those things in your business or in sales or whatever. So when you do face them, you can soldier on and bust through and come out even stronger than everybody else around you. One other example of this is they find in survival situations where people are, they're stuck out in the woods or they get in plane crashes, whatever. Consistently, the survivors who make it through these things are people that have some kind of experience in that before. They've trained for it. They've done survival classes or whatever it may be. They've been in a tough situation where they had to learn how to survive that way before or whatever, It's the people that have some kind of background or experience in preparing for the BS to happen. So that is my take on the law of attraction and all that stuff. I think it's great. I think it's real, but don't be afraid to look at the bullshit. Just because you look at something that could be potentially negative doesn't mean you're going to attract that to you, and doesn't mean it's going to make you a failure. In fact, I think it's actually going to make you even stronger. So hey, that is my take on that. Prepare for the worst situation so you can go out there and just take things to the next level. Use it to make you stronger. Absolutely use it to make you stronger, and you can make it happen. Hey, if you like this video, feel free to share it or pass it around to anyone. If you want to ask any questions, leave them below and make any comments. That's it. I'll see you guys on the next How to Kick Ass in Sales Business. Rock on. Bye-bye.